Sup flappers, welcome back to another video, and today in this video, title, thumbnail, you've seen it, we're talking about Baal, mainly some of the things that you really should know before you pull for this character. Granted, this video could just be a reaffirmation to your already predetermined decisions, but nonetheless, I do feel like there are a ton of new players currently in Genshin Impact that may even be a little confused as to what an Archon is. Like, wow, are these special characters? Are these characters really that different from normal characters? And of course, exactly where they differ and what do you need to know prior to picking up a Baal for yourself. Regardless whether you're going for that 50-50 or you're guaranteed for a Baal, knowing what you're getting for versus what you likely will be missing out on is going to be important in the grand scheme of things. So with that said, like, subscribe if this video helps you. I'm also going to be giving away about myself here on this channel. So unlike those giga YouTube channels, you likely will have a much higher chance at actually winning about if you follow the instructions. So like, subscribe, stay up to date. I will be releasing a proper video for the Baal giveaway. With that said, let's get into the video. So currently Baal is scheduled to be coming out in 4 days. And for the vast majority of people, I know you guys are already going to be pulling for her regardless of whether she's good, bad, or whatever. And that is the right mindset to be in. Let us just forget about non-meta for one brief moment and focus on the strength of Baal and how she will add to the meta. Currently, Baal is a support DPS. Granted, a lot of people will just focus on the DPS part of this role definition and completely forget about the supporting aspect, but half of Baal's kit is essentially going to be facilitating the team's burst damage. What does that mean? It means that if you are dead set on using Baal as your main DPS, which completely is fine if you want to do that, you will be missing out on a huge team buff, meaning it's like running Bennett as your main DPS. Sure, you can still tag out into some other characters, but you're not going to be able to get the full benefit of Bennett's burst if you always use him as your main damage dealer on field. It's going to be the same situation with Baal. If you're pulling for Baal, know that she functions best in short burst windows. When her burst skill is up, when your team's burst skill is down, bam, go straight into Baal's burst and let things just work out. Now, it's no secret that Baal is going to be good, and even if Baal is not going to be good, I've seen people say, don't worry people, pull for Baal. If she's not good, miHoYo's gonna buff her through the pressure of the community. Now, I don't know which community you guys are gonna be putting your faith in, because to be quite honest, the Western community, unless Baal did some unspeakable thing, you know, like atrocities against humanities, right? Or she put the people of Inazuma into slavery at one point or something like that, the Western community ain't gonna be making that much noise. It's really just the meta followers and the meta number crunchers, the testers are gonna be like, oh wow, you know, like it's not fine-tuned enough. It's people who really matter, like the ones on Twitter, who's gonna be screaming the loudest. They're not gonna be mobilized. So the Western community is gonna be missing out on 99% of their powerhouse. We're talking about the very front line of our keyboard warriors here. So really, if you are putting your faith on community backlash, really look more towards CN and JP, because once again, if you're gonna really rely on the EN community backlash, you better dig some real dirty dirt right up from underneath Baal and present it to the Twitter community, and we'll get them that way. Now, do remember that the situation with Zhongli, for those who don't know, was when Zhongli was initially released, he was underwhelming by the community standards and especially by CN standards. And what CN players did was they essentially had an uprising, and not only did they mention that he was underpowered compared to someone like Venti, but he was also underpowered comparatively to other units, non-Archon units in the game. It didn't make sense of the lore, and finally, of course, it added to the problem that Zhongli was supposed to be a representation of the Chinese people. He is from Liyue, and the Chinese people took offense to the fact that why is their representative so underpowered? And now going forward, Baal is a representative of Japan, right? Inazuma is based off of Japan. So honestly, I don't know how much it would affect the Japanese player base if Baal were to be underwhelming. Maybe the Japanese player base will just not care and they won't really mention it that much. They'll still get it to C6. And if there is no uprising, if there is no big vocal concern from the CN and JP side, because let's be real here, while NA we do wail a lot and there's a lot of Leviathans living out here in the West, the vast majority of the focus for MiHoYo is based on both CN and more Asian-based servers. So if we are the only ones that are complaining, I mean, do you think if Tectone made a video with 200 or 400,000 views that MiHoYo is gonna notice and wow, look, people are really not happy about this, let's make some changes? No. So understand that if you are going in with this mentality thinking it doesn't matter if Baal is strong or weak, they're gonna buff her regardless, maybe wait a little longer, because I'm pretty sure we can get a good feel for Baal within a week. You're not going to be missing out too much from a week. You can still farm for all her materials once the patch releases, and stay on the sideline. This is always something I caution people to do, because running into something blind, especially like a new Archon, the hype is unreal. Everybody and their grandmas are going to be talking about it. They're going to be owning it. A lot of people are going to be owning multiple constellations of this character. And with everything set up in patch 2.1, especially with Kokomi's second banner being super undesirable to a lot of people, it's not going to be surprising for people to go all in on Baal's banner. Now, aside from role definition, you also have to understand that what you're missing out on if you're going for Baal. Potentially, if patch 2.1 is like any other patch, while we're going to be getting a decent amount of primogems through events and whatnot, you likely will run into the problem that you will not be able to guarantee the first character of patch 2.2. Now, for those who don't know, currently we've been having really stacked patches when it comes to character releases, and there are certain characters that likely are scheduled for reruns, notably Ganyu, Hu Tao, Zhao, Albedo. Now, they likely will come relatively close in the order that they did before, meaning that Albedo came first, then Ganyu, then Zhao, then Hu Tao. But MiHoYo is known to mix up these orders, so it is very likely at this point that Ganyu would be coming either in patch 2.2, the first banner, or patch 2.3. And patch 2.2 is likely going to be the one she's coming back for. And if you know MiHoYo, you know they like to make sure that all these banners are placed at the most inconvenient ways possible to get you to spend money. It's done very subtly and most people don't notice it, but I'm just here pointing that potential out. Is it worth it to pick up Baal over Ganyu or multiple copies of Baal? So for example, if you're thinking of going for C1, C2 Baal, just know that likely you could be holding off on that, and if you don't have a Ganyu, you could be getting a C0 Ganyu or C1 Ganyu, which currently has the best value per constellation in the game. C1 Ganyu is absolutely phenomenal for people who are thinking of either upgrading their Ganyu from C0 to C1 or getting multiple copies of Baal. Really do hold off on the first date, get one copy of Baal, then wait for testings. Let's see how Baal's constellations really function before jumping the gun, getting it, and then when Ganyu comes back around, you're like, oh crap, I'm gonna have to pull out my big fat wallet to get that extra power boost. And of course, we have Baal as the first banner, so we have no idea what's going to be happening in patch 2.2. Yes, I know it's still too early to be talking about patch 2.2 to begin with, but understand banners are the single biggest resource investments you could make in Genshin Impact, which are primogem investments. So you really want them to count. And how can you make your current primogem investment matter if you don't look at the future and the direction of the game? So with that said, I hope you guys are having fun, excited, and best of luck to you all pulling for Baal. I really wish all of you to win your 50/50s, and don't worry, even if you do not, hopefully you can win the Baal giveaway. So stay tuned, like, subscribe, you know what to do. Join my Discord. All the information will be released in the next couple of days until the next video, which may or may not be the Baal giveaway video. Stay safe and peace.